another one.
Is Python enough? Hello. A recent graduate is thinking of learning more about testing roles. Would Python be enough to get by, or would I need to learn Java in order to get a job? So let's start our clock on that one. And it depends on the company that you're working for, right? Python might be enough if the company works primarily in Python, but I don't like when people limit their skills, especially as a recent graduate, right? Um, and I'll say this, right? A QA role, like in testing roles, it's not as much about the language as the concepts, right? You, from what I've seen, they do not teach anything about testing. Maybe a little bit of unit testing, right? But for the most part, they don't teach about testing in college whatsoever. So I would say more than worrying about Python to get by, I would probably focus on taking some type of you know comprehensive testing course where they're talking about the different type of testing, white box, black box, gray box, unit testing, functional testing. Um, what other testing is there? There's the integration testing, the end-to-end testing, the automation testing, the regression testing, the retesting, the beta testing, the alpha testing, smoke testing. I would like take a course that would I would find a course that would focus on all of those because they don't teach that in college, right? And if you can come out of college or close to out of college with actually knowing these skills, then you put yourself in a much better position to land that job, right? It's not necessarily about Python or Java or C sharp. If you know Python, you can probably ramp up to Java for testing purposes. If you're doing automation already, but you're not necessarily going to like it's not like for testing in particular, right? It's not as much about the language as the concepts of being able to test properly, test comprehensively, think about the risk that's going to happen, see things from a customer perspective, from a customer point of view. And that's part of the problem that like I see with like with computer science and those type of majors who go and apply for QAs that they don't know like and it's not their fault. Like trust me, it is not their fault at all that they don't know much about QA. It's just not something that they teach in college. It's just it is what it is. So I would say that my recommendation to any recent graduate or someone who's about to graduate who's been applying for some testing positions, right? Find some additional help, right? And by additional help, that could be as simple as a Coursera course or Udemy course. Find some QA engineers to find out like, hey, what should I like? I'm about to graduate college. What should I look into if I wanted to get into a testing role, like a software QA type role? And we'll tell you like, okay, these are the things that you're gonna need to know. Have the proper foundation, exploratory testing, for example, right? Um, because if from what I've seen, right, interviewing people like uh, people who are like computer science degrees, like recent computer science grads, they don't know much about like the testing outside of the unit test. So if you can stand out a little bit, right, and say, oh yeah, like I've studied this type of testing. Oh, how do you do it? Because I know they don't teach in college. Oh, I took this course, I took that course, I did this and that. Like, oh wow, okay, so this person definitely showed initiative to learning this stuff. So I definitely want to work a little bit more with them and help them grow into their career in QA. So that's how I would say that would be my advice. So but yeah, would Python be enough? It would be fine, but not to necessarily get by. It might be enough to get by for a particular language, but it's not going to be enough to get by in QA and testing as a whole. And I'll definitely recommend you to like take some courses that are going to help you understand QA, comprehensively and how to be a great software tester and not just somebody who knows how to write a little bit of code in Python. All right. So that is my perspective on that. Hopefully that helps.
If you enjoyed the fascinating information shared in this video and you want more, be sure to hit the subscribe button to Tech Coach Ralph to be notified for new videos.